Welcome back to the fire. Tonight we have a story that feels like a classic thriller. It's about a man facing his own execution, who is suddenly given an impossible, miraculous second chance. We will follow him on a desperate journey through hostile territory, where every shadow could be an enemy and every sound a threat. His only goal? To make it home. But be warned, in stories like these, the line between a miraculous escape and a terrible fate is razor thin. This is an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. A man stood on a bridge in a forgotten corner of a war-torn country. His hands were bound behind him with a heavy-duty zip tie. A coarse, synthetic rope was around his neck. It was attached to a sturdy timber overhead, and he stood on a loose plank that extended over the edge. On the other end of the plank stood a soldier in modern combat gear. The man's name was Farrell. He was not a soldier. He was an architect, or had been before the occupation. He had kind eyes, a civilian's haircut, and the weary expression of a man who had seen his entire world dismantled piece by piece. He was flanked by two soldiers, their faces obscured by helmets and ballistic glasses. They held their rifles with a practiced, impersonal stillness. Across the bridge, another soldier watched through the scope of his rifle. Overhead, the low hum of the surveillance drone was the only sound besides the wind. Farrell's eyes were fixed on a piece of driftwood floating down the sluggish brown river below. In his heightened state, time seemed to slow, and he watched it move so slowly, so peacefully. And yet, a panicked thought intruded. How fast it really was. A man's life could be like that. He closed his eyes to think of his wife and children. Then he opened them again, and the soldiers were finished with their preparations. The plank shifted. Peyton Farrell was a respected citizen of his city, a man who believed deeply in the cause of the resistance. He was unable to join the fight himself, but was desperate to contribute, to achieve some glorious, heroic act. One evening, a man in a worn-out resistance uniform stopped at his gate for a drink of water. He told Farrell that the occupying forces had advanced to the Owl Creek Bridge. They were repairing the railway lines, and any civilian caught interfering would be summarily hanged. The stranger then mentioned how easily the bridge could be set ablaze by a brave man. The man in the resistance uniform was not in the resistance at all. He was a scout for the occupying army, a provocateur sent to test the loyalties of men like Farrell. And Farrell had failed. Now, as he stood on the plank, he thought, if I could only free my hands, I might be able to dive into the stream. By diving, I could evade the bullets, and by swimming vigorously, reach the bank, take to the woods, and get away home. His life, he felt, was not over. Not yet. The plank tilted. He fell, down into a silent darkness. Then a sharp, stunning pain in his neck, a flash of white light, and all was still. Then he became aware of a new sensation. He was plunging through water, his bonds miraculously broken. He rose to the surface, gasping. His senses were preternaturally keen, exquisitely sharp. He saw the individual trees on the bank, the veins on each leaf. He saw the gray eyes of the soldier on the bridge and knew that the man was a sharpshooter. He saw the glint of the rifle, the puff of smoke. He dove as the bullet zipped through the water beside him. They were all firing now. The water around him erupted. He swam with the current, his body moving with a strength that he didn't even know he had possessed. The world was a symphony of impossibly vivid details, the hum of a dragonfly's wings, the prismatic colors on the water snake, a cool weight of the water against his skin. He was washed ashore, clutching at the sand, weeping with joy. He was alive. He scrambled up the bank and ran, plunging into the deep forest. The path was unfamiliar, yet he felt he was going in the right direction. For hours he traveled, his bare feet torn and bleeding. The hum of the drone was gone, the gunfire silent. The world seemed to have forgotten him. By nightfall, he was on a road he recognized. He saw strange constellations in the sky, and he heard whispers in a language that he did not understand. He was exhausted, but the thought of home, of his wife, of his children, pushed him forward. Then he saw it, the gate, his home. It stood serene and beautiful, untouched by the war. And there on the porch, bathed in the morning sun, stood his wife. She looked as lovely as the day he last saw her. A smile of ineffable joy lit her face. She stretched her arms out to him. He surged forward, running across the lawn, his arms open to embrace her. He was almost there. He could see the details of her dress, the smile in her eyes. He was about to clasp her. Then he felt a stunning blow upon the back of his neck. A blinding white light blazed all about him with the sound of a cannon shot. And then everything was dark, and there was silence. Peyton Farrell was dead. His body, with a broken neck, swung gently from side to side beneath the timbers of the Owl Creek Bridge. Sometimes the most elaborate journey, the most desperate fight for survival, takes place in no time at all. A chilling reminder that in our final moments, hope might be the cruelest illusion of them all. Thank you for listening. If that ending left an impression on you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that question our reality. Until next time, stay safe by the fire.